Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Today we're gonna be playing some Paranormasight. I didn't realize you guys are getting like just kind of the top of my my desk there. Where were we? We asked Super for help and we made some progress, and I think we've opened up 2 different paths-ish. So let's take a look. I think we were actually in the middle of one. Yeah, we were, because it was getting kind of late. I actually love this game. I thought it has been so interesting. I don't really like horror, but this has been really fun. And so, Mio and Yako decided on their next location to investigate. Oh! Okay. I guess I could have done that. Oh, glad you like it. I do! Shout out Super for getting it to me. I appreciate it. Okay, so these are completed, I think. But it looks like we might need to do this to further these 2. I think we did. Good morning, ma'am. How are you feeling? I'm fine. I hope we can make good progress today. How's your curse stone looking? I haven't felt anything from it since sunrise. Interesting. It's possible that its powers can only be unleashed at night then. That aside, why are you so late this morning? There are unfortunately some things that can't be investigated while the world slumbers, but I did get some research done in that limited time I had. Very well, let's talk. This is the old mansion where I was born and raised. He's looking a bit tired. He must have been up all night investigating. The town is beginning to wake up once more. The clamor of society can be heard from beyond the garden gates. Like any day, a cloud of pollution drifts out from the industrial area. Just want to make sure. Because sometimes there's like stickers in weird places. We may be surrounded by curses and death, but it matters little. My only concern is whether I can see my child again. By the way, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. And what's that? Our current plan is to steal a curse stone that's already absorbed soul dregs, but I'm wondering if it would suffice to not steal, but instead negotiate with a curse bearer and have them use the right for our purposes. Oh? I mean, I suppose that would accomplish the same, but do you think it's possible? As long as we offer compensation, it may prove much easier than you'd expect. Compensation? I don't usually give too much commentary. I actually think that that's probably not gonna work out, because what could you pay somebody to not resurrect someone that they love or care about? Like, what amount could you possibly provide? If they're willing to kill a bunch of people, like, is that realistic? Your favorite nachos tonight? Ugh. Well, good luck. I'm glad you enjoy them, Noober. Compensation. Cash, for instance. That wouldn't be off the table for a family as rich as the Shigemas, would it? Of course. Why, any amount would be fine if it'd get the job done. I won't let any monetary matters lead me to regrets the way it did back with the ransom. Maybe they just need a hug. Activates their curse condition, give hug. Okay, with that option on the table, let's figure out our strategy. Yeah, I think that's a bad strategy. Like, I can't fathom any amount. Like, I think that this issue surpasses money at this point. If you're willing to kill an excessive number of people, right? Fill something with enough soul dregs, right? Enough dead people. Like, you're not, like, money is not, you know, that means you're really desperate. That means you're not going to be able to be offered any amount of money that would probably, like, make you want to give up resurrecting somebody, right? That's my thought. Do you have a curse bearer with whom we can negotiate in mind? Not yet. Surprisingly, it seems the other curse bearers haven't been that proactive about collecting soul dregs. Did you see the news this morning? No, I haven't. Overnight, 3 mysterious deaths were reported in this area. They've yet to announce the identities of the bodies found, but they've been nicknamed in the Honjo serial killings. It's garnered quite some attention on the streets. Oh my. Only 3? That's what I thought. Even if the victims were curse bearers, just 1 or 2 wouldn't be enough soul dregs. And for what those curse stones are capable of, a mere 3 victims seems a little on the low side. With this little activity all through the night, the curse bearers must be a cautious bunch. What's holding them back? Are we not all after the power of resurrection? There may still be some undiscovered victims, but it doesn't seem like anyone has gathered enough soul dregs yet. We might have to set up some bait to spur them into action. And then we offer them the deal. None of the curse bearers seem very proactive. I wonder if this situation could be what the mastermind who kicked it all off intended. Now that's an interesting theory. You think there's someone behind this all? You mentioned hearing an agonized voice telling you to kill when you first obtained the curse stone. That doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. Someone agitated the curses in this area on purpose. They are likely after the rite of resurrection as well. So you're thinking that this person is not one of the curse bearers. You've got a sharp mind, ma'am. Though it might seem obvious for the mastermind to become a curse bearer and collect soul dregs if they were after the rite, this would be very risky since as a curse bearer, they themselves would become a target. So it'd actually be more convenient for them if the curse bearers moved less aggressively. That's right, but despite that, they've been inciting the curse bearers to commit murders. Why? Well, now, wouldn't it make sense if they wanted to use the rite of resurrection to, like, amp up all the other curse bearers to kill each other, narrow down the amount of soul dregs and active curse bearers, and then steal the stone? Like, just kind of wait for everybody else to take each other out and fill the curse stone with soul dregs? That's what I would do. And I don't feel like that's some sort of crazy stretch, but I digress. Let's consider this. What if the mastermind isn't trying to collect soul dregs themselves? You mean their intention was also to steal the souls while the other curse bearers compete with each other from the start? Sitting back and observing from the sidelines is the safer course of action, which is why I figured it best for us to attempt the same strategy. So how should we do it? There's still a reason to suspect the mastermind could be a curse bearer themselves. To be honest, I want to keep my distance from whoever it is. There's no telling what kind of power they might possess. Whether our aim is to negotiate or steal, we'll have to outpace the mastermind in making contact with the other curse bearers. How do you suppose we do so? At this point, all we can do is search. If there's a mastermind inciting the curse bearers to collect soul dregs, can we be sure that there is even a rite of resurrection? Good question. The rite could be nothing but a myth fabricated to spur the curse bearers into action. Seeing it might be for naught, do you want to give up, ma'am? Never. Understood. After all, we'll never know the truth unless we see it for ourselves. But we'll do it without using the curses ourselves. By the way, I met a few people who seemed like potential curse bearers last night. I did some investigating into all of them, but I only managed to get detailed information on 2. You're quick. I suppose it's to be expected from an investigator extraordinaire. I appreciate the flattery. First, there's Ayame Tono, the girl we talked to before, though she isn't a curse bearer herself. She's a student attending T University of Art. She currently lives alone in an apartment near the park. You even determined her address? You're not one to be underestimated, Mr. Investigator Extraordinaire. I called every single university with Yukio Yi and the curriculum pretending to be her parent. I went around to check on her place on the way here. It doesn't seem like she's returned home last night. I'm worried she might have run into some trouble. Didn't you attempt to follow her last night? I'm embarrassed to say, but I couldn't. She shook me. I couldn't keep track of her. And here, I thought you were an investigator extraordinaire. I'd like to learn more about her, but it would take some time. She's planning to steal the curse stones just like us. It's best we act carefully around her. Next is the tall man who's dressed in black. I met him near Kinchicho. He stood out with the way he dressed. I managed to get some good information from him. Impressive. What can I say? He works as the secretary to the soap company, soap's chairwoman. Okay. I believe his name is Takumi. The soap's headquarters and factories are both located in Honjo, correct? Yes, they've been here for a while, but it's only in the past 10 years that the company has shown significant growth. I remember seeing the chairwoman on the news a few years back. She seemed to be very shrewd. With the increase in sales, I assumed she'd want her factories running at full capacity. But with the harsh restrictions against industrial waste, a lot of the factories with older equipment had to be shut down. That's right, even 10 years ago, there were many complaints about chemical plants dumping waste into the river. Most companies back then were more concerned with making a profit than protecting the environment. We learned about this in my globalization course. MDCs did that and then gained a lot of money, but then expect that LDCs can't do the same because MDCs became more aware of like climate change, and so they're trying to restrict LDCs who could use the like boost in profit. Anyway. If anybody's curious, I'll talk about that some other time. Nobody cares right now, though, I'm sure. I wonder what a man working for such a company would have been up to in the middle of the night. On the way here, I stopped by the company's headquarters, but they hadn't started for the day. I should have better luck later. Let's hope you will. Perhaps they're interested in seeing if the right would be beneficial for their product research into beauty and skincare. Huh, now that's an interesting thought. I ran into one more suspicious young man last night. This one seemed to be out collecting soul dregs, right? Indeed, I couldn't get a good look at him, though, and I couldn't gather enough intel to properly identify him. Well, that's a shame. But I can make an educated guess. Oh? You know that researcher who discovered the ancient text on the Rite of Resurrection, the one that lives near here? His name is Haruki Arashi, and the man I met was very similar in stature. Oh my, even he is involved? How awfully suspect. Considering his background, couldn't he be the one who initiated the whole affair? I think it's possible, yes. Which is why I decided to refrain from making contact with him for the time being. Safety first. Understandable. Of course, I want to learn more, but this isn't the right time to focus on him. His hair is fabulous. I'd love to have hair like that. I prefer to ascertain who else is a curse bearer. First, I'll return to Soaps to see that man in black. Their headquarters are down on South Street. I'm just cutting out words that I know that I would butcher. I learned something new about the criminal involved with the kidnapping. It concerns serial killings. There was a body found at Komagata High School. The person was identified as a school teacher. His name was Jonoichi. Do you think he was a curse bearer? Not sure. It's possible. But regardless, this means the two people who knew the truth about the kidnapping are both dead. Just when we were getting somewhere. It isn't enough to make me give up, of course. Still, we don't know anything about Michio's residence. It'd be wise to pay a visit. Understood. In addition to the 3 victims associated with the Honjo serial killings, there's Michio Shirarashi, who reportedly committed suicide, and the police officer who died at the former Yasuda Gardens. If strange deaths continue occurring like so, they're bound to inspire strange rumors. But those last 2 have nothing to do with the 7 mysteries, no? It's true. Both occurred a week before this accursed situation began. Still, it cannot be ruled out. It's possible that the mastermind was involved even with those killings. How? What if there were preliminary steps to awakening the 7 mysteries curses? Can we really assume they're unrelated just because the timing doesn't match up? Or rather, the police officer's death is so baffling it'd be easier if it were connected to these curses. The victim wasn't the type to be caught off guard easily. You seem to know a lot about this. I suppose we weren't strangers. My personal feelings might be wrapped up in this one too. I see. If you were to investigate this matter more, you might get a lead on the mastermind. You're right. If we wish to focus on the mastermind's identity, this would be a fine starting point. We might even discover more deaths related to the curses on the way. We should pay attention to today's news. Well, that's all I have to report. Shall we continue with our investigation? What do you want to do? You still can't use the curse stone. Taking a walk should be a fine place to start. Right, let's go together. I want to see what's going on for myself. In that case, I'll trust you to decide on where we should go, ma'am. Where should I go to begin my search? Which places have stood out to me the most so far? One more quick look around. Okay. Let's go to the high school. MVP! Welcome, welcome. Yeah, after story time today, I'm gonna try to edit the other story times and try to get stuff uploaded. Here we are at Ground Zero, Komagata High School. I guess it's logical that the police got this place shut down. The teacher's body was found here, after all. It's as if the students have nowhere to go now that the school's closed. Seems the officers are still inspecting the scene. Entry has been strictly prohibited. He appears to be wary of those police officers. Maybe the police really do have something against private investigators, just like in those detective novels. Thanks, MVP! I mean, I'm close. Technically, I still have one more essay to submit. It just needs to be edited, and I'm just waiting on my professor's edits. And then I could submit it, and then I'm done. But I'm basically done. The news has attracted a bunch of curious onlookers, huh? That works in our favor. The more people around, the better we can blend in. This place is said to be connected with the story of the Fool's Procession. I wouldn't be surprised if a curse bearer decided to turn up. However, I need to find out if that teacher was a curse bearer or not. I expect the police to be baffled since they don't know about the curses. I can ask around and see what the students have to say. Alright, I'll go ask the students about Michio. How's work, MVP? How's life? I'm back, ma'am. What did you learn? The school kids sure love a good rumor. I was practically drowning in stories about Mr. Jonoichi and Michio, most of which seemed too dubious at best. Not surprising. Most of what I heard was hardly worth a second thought, but there was one story that caught my attention. Oh? Some believe that Michio was the one who killed Mr. Jonoichi. Really? The story's got two pieces of evidence to back it up. One of them wasn't news to me. Apparently, he's been mumbling that Michio was going to kill him for some days now. A fellow teacher overheard his mumbling and told the students. And then it spread like wildfire, I suppose. Rumors that juicy don't stay a secret for long. As for the other piece of evidence, a pigtailed girl in her school uniform was seen around school late last night. Go on. Although numerous people claim to have seen the girl, not one of them saw her face. Some are proposing it was Michio brought back to life, or that it was her vengeful spirit. But it's not like Michio's the only high school girl to wear pigtails. This rumor might have been made up just to fan the flames. But if it were true, I'd want to get a hold of her in order to hear her side of the kidnapping. If she's alive, that'd be ideal. There's still one more thing I should mention. I discovered where Michio lived. A student had a list of students' addresses on hand. That's an amazing find. I believe all the students actually have a copy of said list. It truly worries me how easy it is to obtain what should be confidential information. Imagine what would have happened if that information got into the wrong hands. Well, so far it hasn't, no? Sure, let's hope it stays that way. In the meantime, it's now possible for us to visit Michio Shirarashi's house. I can imagine the students are uneasy after learning of the murder. It may do them well to stay home for some time, if not for fear of their safety. The police are probably too wrapped up in solving the case to be concerned about the students' mental health. I can see that. It's important that society provides a safe environment for the benefit of our youth. Some school policies could use some rewriting, especially those handling the students' personal information. That's right, I don't want a student being kidnapped on their way home ever again. I expect criminals to grow more cunning as time passes. There may be times where the authorities can't keep up. That's where our outlaws such as myself come in. What's this about? Actually, just forget I said anything. Okay, doesn't look like I've missed anything. How did it go? I went to visit Michio Shirarashi's family home. However, no one seemed to be there. I got no answer at the door and all the lights were out. It seems to have been empty for a while now. There was a stack of newspapers out front. I don't understand why nobody's come to this house even after Michio committed suicide. I wonder if this place is okay. It's a bit quieter over here. It's a residential area after all. All these rundown row houses really scream working class, don't they? I've never liked these messy and clustered back streets. They give me the jitters every time. It's reassuring to have someone as strong and tall as Richter accompanying me. He looks so unfazed. I suppose a detective is used to this kind of thing, always investigating and chasing criminals. I wouldn't be cut out for it. Social connections run deep in the working class areas like this place, so I decided to talk to the locals. I met a few nice old ladies who were kind enough to give me the scoop. Turns out that Shirarashi's reputation really went down the dumps this past year. Is that so? I'll give you the quick summary. They moved here about 3 years ago. Their previous residence was in a better part of town. Michio's father died in a car accident, leaving behind just the two of them. Michio's mom Toshiko, now a single mother, relocated here. At first, they got along with their neighbors, many of which were in similar situations, helping and being helped in turn. So far, so good. What happened? Well, as I said, their reputation began to go downhill about a year ago. A man recognized as Toshiko's common-law husband had moved into the household. His name was apparently Kankichiro Iwai. Neighborhood gossip is something else. Somehow everyone knew about this. So what of this Iwai character? He was apparently a vulgar fellow with a criminal record. Thanks for the hydrate, Frank. I didn't hear anything, did you guys? Sometimes I hear the sound alert, sometimes I don't. But as long as you guys hear them, that's what's important, I guess. Let's see. He was apparently a vulgar fellow with a criminal record. He was prone to violent outbursts. His neighbors often heard screams and shouting coming from the home. The neighbors took particular notice of Toshiko's screams, pleading with him to not hit Michio. It's terrible. Did you guys see there's a shadow? As if that wasn't unsettling enough, every night the neighbors also began to hear an eerie chanting. Through this, the Shirarashis standing in the neighborhood plummeted rapidly. Toshiko was often seen covered in bruises and wounds. She stopped responding to her neighbors. She would just turn the other way when greeted. They kept their storm shutters closed even during the day and effectively shut themselves away from the entire community. That sounds horrible. Why didn't the police step in and do something? Unfortunately, under our current laws, the police aren't allowed to get involved with domestic disputes. Oh my gosh. It's awful. And then Michio reportedly killed herself. Things only got worse with Irawa, and Toshiko was admitted to the hospital for physical and mental abuse. Ever since Irawa... Iwai? I don't know how to say his name. Iwai hasn't returned to the home. Many locals expressed sympathy for Michio's circumstances, but just as many were fed up with the Shirarashis entirely and seemed relieved that things finally quieted down again. God, that's awful. They were like, oh, as long as her beating, her being physically and mentally abused and him beating his stepchild doesn't interfere with my life. God, may those kinds of neighbors never find me. It seems that they were still considered outsiders even after 3 years of living here. I don't understand it. Why would Toshiko have gotten involved with such a brutish good-for-nothing in the first place? Probably money, right? She had to move into a place like this, couldn't support herself. She was probably looking for a way out. I've heard many stories where one partner's personality does a complete turn after entering a relationship. Yeah, it's hard to leave a marriage, I'm sure. After her first husband's death, Toshiko's financial situation had also taken a turn for the worse. She was determined to send her daughter to a good high school. It's possible she fell victim to sweet promises. Life can be tough, I suppose. You don't seem moved by the story, ma'am. That's fine. People have all kinds of stories. Yeah, the lack of sympathy is kind of icky. I saw him and I said all I could think of is that audio. He's bald! He's bald and he's torturing people who have hair! Damn. This guy's such a loser. Yeah, it is kind of weird that she would fall for someone who did time in prison and like fall for their schemes. Seems like somebody who's like super very obviously not trustworthy. I don't know. I don't know. That's horrible though. And I don't like that she's not sympathetic. This lady. The Shirarashis were dealt a tough hand. I can't imagine what it was like. Yeah, you can't because you're filthy freaking rich. Could it be that the girl was forced by her circumstances to take part in the kidnapping? But the Shirarashis certainly hadn't lucked out with theirs, bringing such a violent man into it. Yes, is that all? So we went to the high school. Maybe we go... Let's go to this street and then park. The soap's headquarters are on the other side of the South Street. They were closed when I visited this morning, but appears things are up and running now. To think this small soap-making company could grow so much in such a short time. There are factories and warehouses throughout the area now. You can see why director and now chairwoman Yamamori is called the Queen. You mentioned that Takumi works as her secretary? That's correct. Do you think it's possible he's acting on her orders? That's exactly my thinking. A curse bearer with both money and power could certainly look at resurrection as their next prize. Negotiating with a person of that stature may prove difficult. Business is up and running. I can see people inside the reception area. He tells me he barely slept last night, and yet it seems he's brimming with energy. He looks like he probably did a line of coke. Was I too that resilient at his age? Perhaps it's what sets apart a detective from the rest. Back in the Edo period, the canal known as South ran through this area, but it's been turned into a major road. It's a bit away from the station or the other station, though it's still considered a nice area. The stories of the ever-burning lantern and the foot-watching mansion both took place around here. One of the bodies discovered this morning was found by this road as well. This is quite a lively area, huh? I suppose you could call it somewhat of a city center. So an influential person at the soap company is potentially a curse bearer? Richter proposed we use money to negotiate for the curse stones, but we could hardly outbid a large corporation if it came down to it. First, I need to confirm whether Takumi is the man I ran into last night. Then I'll be able to determine if he's a curse bearer. It'll be better if I go inside the headquarters alone. You should walk around, visit a cafe for some tea, perhaps. It'll be better if I go inside the headquarters alone. Okay. I'm going to go in. It may be a while, so feel to find somewhere to kill time. Maybe it was meant to say feel free. To find somewhere to kill some time. Okay, good luck in there. Sorry to keep you waiting. How did it go? I'll fast forward to the conclusion. I met with Takumi. There's no doubt he's the same man I saw last night, but it doesn't seem like he's a curse bearer. I thought he was dead. But that doesn't mean he has no connections to the recent curses. He knew about the 7 mysteries. He even guessed that we have a curse stone of our own. I have turkey, chili, red mustard, yeah, sourdough sandwich. Ooh. That sounds good. I love sourdough. Tell me how it tastes. For dinner, I'm having like a Chilean style slow cooked chicken, shredded chicken, and tacos. Tara yelled at me to quit cheating on my diet and cut me down. I hope they're not yelling at you. That's not nice. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I tried to approach Takumi about the fallen item after I ran into him last night. However, you said your name was Richter, correct? I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. I'm hoping you would hand over the curse stone in your possession. Curse stone? What are you on about? There's no need to play dumb with me. In fact, there's no time for it. I had all the same reason you did to think you were a curse bearer last night, and your arrival here only confirms it. You are a curse bearer, no? You're right, we lack time. I'll confess, I'm a curse bearer. I possess the curse stone of the haunting clappers. I'm glad to hear the truth. Finally, this conversation is worthwhile. It is a dangerous item you hold. Give it to me. My company will take the responsibility to dispose of it. I didn't know the soap business specialized in scrubbing curses clean. It's the prerogative of Miss Yamamori. Is that so? Assuming you've obtained the curse, you understand the power it involves, no? Miss Yamamori possesses supernatural powers akin to those of a god. She also has a deep love for this land, having transformed it from the pile of dirt it once was to the home of our headquarters. She cannot stomach the fact that it's now the site of these curses run rampant. So you're telling me the queen is a real-life witch? She wouldn't appreciate being called that, mind you. There's a sorcerer by the name of Gamiodo who's gallantly working behind the scenes, exorcising spirits and the like. Go on. That being so, there have already been instances of the dead coming back to life. Do you understand the urgency of this matter? These are curses we're speaking of, tools which are used by wicked beings to possess people. The rite of resurrection is nothing but a fabrication meant to seduce the curse bearers into unspeakable action. If you truly understand what I'm talking about, you must hand over the curse stone at once. Very interesting. With that said, just how many curse stones have you acquired so far? If what you tell me is true, surely the company would have launched a large-scale search by now. We have 6. 6? Whoa, I can rest at ease then. And here I thought I was at risk of being cursed. It seems we're on the same page. If that's the case, you should hand over your curse stone immediately. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's not actually in my possession at the moment. Considering its importance, I've been keeping it in hiding. Really now? Then I'll accompany you while you retrieve it. I'm sorry, but I've got something important to attend to, but I promise I'll return with it later. Very well. Then you won't refuse to provide your address and telephone number, I presume. How prudent of you. I'll oblige. It's funny how no one here has a gun or a baseball bat. Yeah. And that's how it went. So they aren't after the right after all. I wouldn't be so quick to trust him. Oh? I believe we're dealing with a master in deception. He may well have made up a story to convince us to part ways with our stone. I think he was lying about having procured 6 curse stones as well. Like, really? 6? That's excessive. Well, now I feel gullible. The company is plotting something. I wonder what they mean to do with the curse stones. They seemed rather desperate to get a hold of ours, despite us not having collected any soul dregs. Perhaps the people at the soap company are the masterminds behind the curses being unleashed. Because the chairwoman's a witch? I wonder about that too. If she really were that powerful, would her secretary have divulged that information so casually? Takumi was either making it up as he went on, or he's trying to spread a rumor. But for what purpose would he do that? Recently, people have been caught up about the occult more than ever before. If word spreads that the soap company's chairwoman has godlike powers, she could very well benefit socially and politically from that mystique. That's unsettling. Okay, I'm gonna turn on some lights. We should avoid the sump company for the time being. It'll be a pain if I have to deal with Takumi again. By the way, there's one more thing of interest. I heard a ball in the company's reception lobby. And what's that? People were discussing whether one of the bodies found this morning was that of Hahaku employee? Really? So long as the officials haven't revealed the identity, it all amounts to no more than speculation, though. Despite that, I have reason to believe that the soap company is deeply involved with the 7 mysteries. At the very least, I can assure you I've gathered that much. The more we know, the better our negotiations will go. Okay. I think we've cleared everything. We're here. This is the park. Ayami lives around here. She was in her apartment when I dropped by this morning. I wonder if it's worth checking again. It seems picking up Ayami's trail is out of the question for now. Why'd we even come here? This place is connected with a story of Taiko of Tsugaru? Not only that, Hokusai's home was also in this area. Is Super being the guinea pig? Sure. I don't mind. That might be why Ayame chose to live here. Small park boarding this up. It's always heartwarming to see the children playing in the park. Richter seems to like kids, perhaps because they're on the same wavelength. We won't get much done standing around here. Why don't I go and check out Ayame's apartment? You don't mean to speak with her, do you? No, I'd prefer to get an idea of what she's been up to. I'd like to see whether she's been home or not, just to potentially get a trace on her movements. Then be my guest. Okay, I shouldn't be long. I'm back, man. So, nothing? I'm afraid so. She still hasn't returned. However, I noticed a few people who seem to be related to the police force keeping watch in the area. I don't know if they've got eyes on her apartment, but they do appear to be watching the building it's in. Interesting. You've got a sharp eye to have noticed them despite them being so covert. What can I say? It's part of the job. However, it meant I had to refrain from knocking on her door or looking through her windows. I wasn't able to check her electric meter or mailbox either, unfortunately. You were planning to go that far? Super. Oh my God. A menace. Thank you, MVP. I appreciate it. That'll be so helpful. I've been meaning to figure out how to do that. I'm glad you got it. You're the best. We won't make much progress sticking around here. What a waste of time. We should move on quickly. Okay, we've been everywhere now. Tea of the day, Tenebris! Please tell me you aren't just leaving. No, not quite. I'll probably still play for another 20 minutes or so. Oh, I'm far ahead of you in the game, Super? I've been playing pretty consistently. Because I want to try to finish this title before I play some of the other games. Tea of the day is a mango Arizona tea. Shout out Frank. So this is just the household again. I'm not really sure what else to do. Sorry, I'm opening another thing of Smarties. Your Arizona dealer. And I appreciate it. Especially because it's getting warmer out. It's been nice having iced tea. I doubt anyone's still living there. Hmm? Oh, so you came here too. What is it? Could you repeat that Could you repeat what you know one more time for me, Richter? Uh-oh. Actually, the police are kind of my favorite characters. Okay, I think this would be good. It seems like Michio's house is at the end of this road. We don't want to intimidate them, so maybe I should go alone. Okay, so this is the same situation we were in earlier. Oh, I don't think I've read this before. Well, it really feels like old Tokyo. I was just going to skip through. It's quiet. This place is normally pretty lively, full of people coming and going, but it seems like everyone's decided to stay inside because of the recent incidents. Alright, I'll go check the house. Oh, sticker! So, the Shirarashi household. There's a chance that Michio didn't actually kill herself. It might be for the best that we didn't find her parents. Oh, you're back. No luck, boss. No one home? It doesn't look like it. I knocked for a while, but nobody came out the door. I glanced in the windows, but there was no sign of activity inside either, and I saw about 3 newspapers stuffed in another mailbox. Ario looks kind of disappointed. Not much we can do if they're not home. Let's go somewhere else for now. Damn. Okay, so this is basically what we saw last time. I thought like maybe we would interact with them or something. Here we are, Kamagata High. Classes are suspended for the day, so the students are just kind of wandering around aimlessly. Yes, this is all the same stuff for sure. Oh, that's right. Speaking of schools, what is it? You said paranormal affairs can't help us right now, so why don't we get that psychic high schooler? Okay, this is the same stuff. Okay, so this isn't... that's not right either. Okay. So maybe we have to start with the girls? Go to the school now since the detectives might be there? I'm not sure. Thanks for the stretch, Tenebris. And for the hydrate. I appreciate it. I saw someone say, I can't remember who it was, that said that streamers were just like their little Tamagotchis, and I was like, damn, okay. You're kind of right. And so, Mio and Yako decided on their next location to investigate. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? I want it from school. Okay, so this is the same thing. I'm trying to skip past all this because we've already done all this. Shoot, this is annoying. I thought we'd run into the cops. What did I do? You're funny. Okay, so this can't be right. Hmm. And so... Super, any thoughts? Not really sure what to do now. But you said you hadn't gotten this far. I'm not really sure what to do. Everything feels like it's stuck. Okay. That can't be right. I guess I'm on my own. Maybe we call it here. That's about an hour. That's not bad. Let's call it here. Oh, I hope you guys had a good time. It'll give me some time to do some editing this evening. So, for those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, thank y'all so much, and I'll see you later. Bye!